Since the dangers of a SIDS death decline over time, one might expect that the most dangerous time is immediately after birth. But that's not the case. There is an anomaly. The most dangerous time for SIDS occurring is from the 2nd to 4th months. Why does there appear to be some protection against SIDS for the first 2 months? My response to that is that fetal hemoglobin might possibly provide some measure of protection. Fetal hemoglobin is at its highest during the first months of infancy, but it is declining while adult hemoglobin is increasing. So it's fair of you to ask, what does fetal hemoglobin have to do with rebreathing? Well, fetal hemoglobin has greater affinity to oxygen, as oxygen binds more easily to fetal hemoglobin. Is it possible that fetal hemoglobin will still be able to acquire sufficient oxygen from the lungs, even when oxygen in the lungs is depleted to dangerous levels due to rebreathing, while adult hemoglobin would be less successful? It's a theory, unproven and even untested, but it might explain how an infant can be protected from SIDS for the first 2 months if rebreathing is an issue. I'm not a doctor, but I would like to hear from anyone in the medical profession who could comment on whether this idea might even be an outside possibility. In the switchover from fetus to an independent infant, the infant's autonomic system has to adjust, and doctors consider that this adjustment, this transition, accounts for the vulnerability from the 2nd to the 4th month. Hemoglobin is part of that changeover and possibly explains how rebreathing might be implicated. Another anomaly for SIDS is the unexpected overheating of the infant. Heating and breathing are part of this autonomic system. Is it possible that during this transition period for the autonomic system, some synesthesia is occurring, where one sense produces outcomes in another? As a possible example, in response to excessive carbon dioxide in the lungs due to rebreathing, rather than improving breathing, the autonomic system increases heating instead. It gives the wrong response. Or the opposite. Is it possible that when an infant becomes overheated due to excessive bedding or clothing, that the autonomic system incorrectly responds by reducing breathing volume or rate? Another important part of this autonomic system is swallowing. Yes, we have to include thumb sucking within the autonomic system. Is it possible that those fetuses and infants who automatically practice thumb sucking at birth have helped accelerate the development of the autonomic system overall, and that this development helps improve breathing and temperature control, protecting the child against SIDS and other outcomes? Yes, maybe this is what results in reduced incidence of SIDS due to thumb sucking, and not rebreathing. Have I not just blown apart my whole theory of rebreathing? Perhaps in part, but all the ideas I put forward here are to encourage creative thought and possible discoveries of new avenues of thinking, some of which may eventually stand up to proof as we break away from old narratives. I make no claims. These ideas are more do you think questions rather than set theories, as I listen and stay open to new fresh ideas. My challenge to you is to challenge me, right or wrong. It's a conversation, a dialogue. I could go one more. Some consider that prone sleeping possibly results in the collapse of the upper airways of the infants, which leads to SIDS. Maybe, maybe not. Perhaps in the prone position, the neck tilted back pinches the medulla, And slow blood flow results in interference in breathing and temperature control of the autonomic system. Anyways, moving on. When I initially wrote my book, swaddling was considered by all to prevent SIDS. I went against that thinking and explained how swaddling could lead to a SIDS outcome. Since then, some in the medical profession have concluded that it can lead to SIDS, certainly not due to reading my work. I was thinking of covering swaddling next, but thought instead of switching over to the relationship between rebreathing and Alzheimer's, which may be of more interest. Take care.